Open the sheet called as file called as fin data XLSM. Insert a sheet. Rename it as menu. First, we need to remove the grid lines. So for that, click on View and uncheck grid lines. So first option, what we need is trial balance, then P&L account, balance sheet, mail as PDF, then exit. So I'm using a shape here. You can use a button also. I'm going to insert shapes and I'll select this rounded rectangle and draw it like this. We'll name it as trial balance.
Sir, can you little bit slow?
First, to insert a sheet, name it as menu.
Okay.
Then you remove the grid lines. To remove the grid lines, you click on View, View tab, uncheck grid lines.
Okay.
Then to draw this button, you go to Insert, Shapes, and select any button. I have selected rounded rectangle.
Okay.
And name it as trial balance.
Okay.
Now we need other buttons also. So just copy paste this. Control C, Control V. And just we can place it. We'll align it afterwards. So I want trial balance. After trial balance, the second one is profit and loss account. By clicking on this pointers, you can increase or decrease the size. Next is balance sheet. Then we need one more, that is for exit. Control C, Control V. Now if you want to align this, you select all the controls. Just click on that trial balance. You see it is getting selected. Then you press either Control or Shift. Any one of the buttons will do. Then just go on clicking it. So the other controls are also selected. Now when you select these shapes, you will get one more tab on the top called as Shape Format. This can be used to align. So click on Shape Format and you have the option called as Align Objects and you align it to the left.
How to select all?
Just click on the first control, then press Shift and click on the other controls.
Okay.
And then you go to Shape Format. Align to the left.
Shapes format where it is available.
In Shape Format, there is a Arrange group. In that, Align. Align to the left.
No, I didn't get first the shape format itself.
You are getting a format option, format tab on the top. With the shapes are selected. Click on format.
Yeah.
Align to the left. You can have some logo here if you want, company's logo or something. For the time being, I'll just go to insert word art and select any option from here. These are opening screen. Okay. Now when I click on this trial balance, it should display a user form. Okay. This much is done, everyone.
No, I didn't. After the left alignment, so what you did?
I just inserted a word art and I written the company's name. Any company name you can write. Go to insert word art on the extreme right hand side. Select any design from here and type it and drag it. Okay. Now when I click on trial balance, it should display a form. The form is similar to what I displayed earlier. So if I click on this trial balance, it should display a form like this. Okay. There is a drop down here. You can see there is a combo. This is a combo box. And when I click on this submit, it should be saved in the sheet called as my TV. Okay. So we'll create a user form like this. So go to the Visual Basic Editor, Alt F11. We need to insert a user form. So go to insert user form. Now we need 2 text boxes and 1 combo box. And we need 3 buttons also. So for inserting the labels, I want 3 labels. And 2 text boxes and 1 combo box. We'll do the alignments afterwards. First to insert all the controls first. So label 1 will be account title. So go to the caption property of that. Instead of label 1, you name it as account title. Label 2 will be account head. and label 3 will be amount. To align it, select all the controls by dragging the mouse through it. And then you go to format, align to the left. Now you'll notice here that the account title and the text box, they are not aligned, right? So we can also align it across the middle portion of that. So for that, select that account title, click on the text box of that, and then you go to format, align to the middle. That means that account title will be aligned along the middle part of the text box. Okay, you can see it here how it will be aligned. If you align it along the top border, then that label and the text box will be aligned across the top border. So that won't look nice. So we can do it along the middle. Now we need to draw some buttons, that is command button. So we need a save button, a submit button, and exit. Clear button. We need to clear the previous values. So we need 3 buttons. We can resize it afterwards. So the first one will be, say, submit. Second is clear. The third one is exit. We'll also change the name property. I'll select the submit button. The name properties, you can see command button 1. So that can be confusing. So what I'll do is I'll change the name property of that. You can give any name. I'll change it to submit button, submit underscore button. You can't give a space here. Okay. Clear button will be, instead of command button 2, clear button. And then third will be, instead of command button 3, exit button. We'll also give some colors to the background, also the button. Now suppose I want to make all the buttons of same size. We need to change the width and the height property. Okay. Now there are 2 options here. If you see at the name property, the properties window, there is one tab called as alphabetic. So alphabetic means all the properties will be displayed in ascending order. So you can see accelerator, auto size, back color, that is A to Z. If I click on category wise will give me the properties category wise. For example, if you look at this, so first is appearance. So in appearance, we have all these properties: back color, caption, then you have behavior, right? Likewise, if I go to the position, you can see the height, left, top and width. Okay, so I want to make all these buttons of similar size. So we'll keep the height as 18. Even left is okay, top is fine. 36. So instead of 36, we'll make the width as, I think 36 is fine. So even for the clear button, you can see height is 24. So we need to make it 18. Don't change the left and the top. Width will be 36. Even for exit button, height, I'll make it 18 and width is 36. Now if you want to align this, select it, select all the buttons. Either you can press the Control or the Shift. And then go to Format, Align to the top. So everything is in the same line. You can also make it horizontal spacing equal. So that will make the width between the buttons same. It will be evenly spaced out. Now for changing the background color, we'll click anywhere on the user form. Select back color and I'll give the, say, light green. Even the labels background color should be same. Submit button, you can give any color. I am giving the color for submit, say green, clear is yellow, exit, okay. Now if I click on the play button, it should display your form like this. Now right now, if I enter anything and if I click on the drop down, it is not going to display anything. And even if I click on the submit button, nothing is going to happen because we are not written the program for that, right? We are just designed the form. This much is done. Now when I display the user form, this account head combo box that should be populated. And how do you populate it? By initializing the user form. So keep your mouse anywhere in the user form, double click it, you'll go to the code window. We don't want the click property. What we want is the initialize property. So click on private sub user form initialize. Now, like we are
sir,
done.
Why we are using initialize instead of click? So
Because
we are starting this.
Because the process of displaying the user form, this particular process, it is called as initialization.
Okay.
And we want the combo box to be populated when the user form is displayed on the screen, when the user form is initialized on the screen. Okay, not when you click on the user form. I don't want the combo box to be populated when I click on the user form. It should be populated when the user form is displayed on the screen. That is called as the initialize property.
Okay.
Now earlier we had manually written combo box 1 dot add item equal to administration. if you remember that we had created a drop down for the department, so we had
Right.
manually typed it. But if you have some 10 or 15 departments, it is very time consuming to type it. So what we can do is we can also put it in a loop. Now here you can see that we already have the account heads written in this sheet called as account heads. So instead of manually typing it, we can put it in a loop also. Okay. You can also type it manually because there are only, I think, 2 to 8. That is 8 account heads. So that can be even manually typed. 9. Or we can also put it in a loop. So I'll show you how that can be put in a loop. First, we need to select the sheet. So what is the sheet name? Account heads. Okay. So sheets. Account heads dot select. Right now I'm hard coding the range. So range is from 82 to 810. Now we have selected the range, so we can put it in a loop. So I'll use the for each account cell. Yeah, this is a variable cell in selection. So whenever you have a for, you should have a next. So inside the loop, I will write combo box. What is the combo box here? Combo box 1. Okay. So combo box 1 dot add item, and what I should add? I should add the variable name account. So till that selection, the first account cell will be income, second account cell will be current liabilities, third account cell will be liabilities. Like that, it will go up to fixed cost, fixed assets. Now if I run this, you should see in the drop down all these account heads are come. Okay, or you can also write it manually. We'll increase the size of this account heads a little bit. We'll make it width is 84. I'll make it 100. Okay. This looks better. Fine. Now we have designed the form. Now we need to write the statements, programming statements. When I click on submit, what should happen is it should take the data from all the text boxes and should be pasted in this sheet called as myTB. And in myTB, it should be pasted here. Now we already have data up to 15th row. It should be pasted here. So in the account title, we want whatever is entered in the title text box. This should be account heads in C16, and according to the account head, it should be either pasted in debit or credit column, and this balance will automatically come. There is a formula behind that, so that it will automatically come. You don't have to worry about that. We just need to take care that it is entered in the correct column. Okay.
Yeah, I have problem. Sheets account head dot select.
It is giving error.
Yeah.
Sheets account heads dot select. There is a space between here.
Yeah, given the space.
No, it should not give any error. No.
Okay. Okay, now it's.
Now the statement for saving that record should come when I click on the submit button. So double click on the submit button. We'll go to that code window. Now before we save it, we need to make sure that the cell comes to the next blank cell in that sheet called as my TV. Okay. So how will I go to that particular cell? This is B column. So what I can do is I can go to the last cell in that B column, come up, then come one row down. Okay. So range, first we need to select that sheets, my TB, my trial balance, dot select. And range, black 48, 576, dot select. To go to the last cell in B column, then active cell dot end. We need to go up. So Excel up, dot select. Then we need to come one row down. So active cell offset 1,0 dot select. Okay. Now first we need the account title. So I'll write active cell dot value equals, what was that? In my case, in my user form, account title is in text box 1, account head is in combo box 1, and amount is in text box 2. Okay. It might be different in your case. Text box 1 dot value. Then in active cell dot offset 0,1 dot value equals combo box 1 dot value. Okay. Because B is the active cell, the account head should come in C column, which is offset 0,1. Now, how will you put the value in debit or credit? Correctly in the debit or credit. See here, if the account head is income, then the type should be CR. Okay, if it is income, current liabilities or liabilities, the type should be CR. And if it is Anything other than that, the type should be DR. If the type is CR, then it should be put in E column. And if the type is DR, it should be put in D column. Okay. So if this is the active cell, debit will be what? Offset 0, 2. Credit will be offset 0, 3. Okay. But before that, we need to determine whether the account head is DR or CR. Now, how will you do that? We can use a logic that is similar to what we did while writing the program for VLOOKUP. What we can do is we can search for that account head in this column. If it is found, pick the value that is in the offset of that. Okay. And then you check for the offset. So what I'll do is I'll use the same logic here. I'm going to account heads, selecting the range. Now for each account cell in selection, we don't want combo box to be populated. What we'll do is if account cell equals that combo box value, combo box 1 dot value. Okay, if it matches. See, what I'm doing here is we have the account head in this combo box. Okay, so I select any value from that. If that value matches the value in this selection, then pick this particular value. Okay, that is in the B column. So if account cell equals combo box 1 dot value, then say ACC account type, account type equals account L dot offset B will be 0, 1 dot value. Okay. Now if I want to confirm if it is returning me the correct type, whether it's CR or DR, we can put it in a message box just to check whether I'm getting the correct offset or not. Just to confirm that. Okay. Now we can also run this in a step-by-step mode. So I'll press F8. Now the combo box is getting populated. Then it is asking me for the entry. So I'll say e-bill, electricity bill, account head is say expenses, then amount say 50,000. Now when I click on submit, okay, we should have a NDF here. can see in that MyTB sheet, it has entered e-bill, that is the account title, then expenses in the account head, then you can see that first account cell is income, that is getting matched with the combo box value. Combo box value is expenses, so there is no match here. So next account cell, now again it is matching whether current liabilities is equal to expenses, no match again. Now it has found a match. Okay, account cell is expenses, again combo box value is expenses. So now it is saying account type, so you can see account type is DR. And see DR, right? So DR, if it is DR, expenses is DR, correct. So it has picked the correct type. Now if it is DR,
I'm getting compile error, sub or function not defined.
in which statement? In which line?
First line, private submit button.
Have you selected the sheet first?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Just
For
check.
that I'm getting. Yeah, on the first line, private submit button. It's found.
So how did you come to this particular module, this code window? You double click on the submit button, right?
Yes.
Or
Yes,
did
yes.
you write it manually? No.
No. Double click on the submit button.
And did you change the name here? Name,
Yes.
submit button.
Yes.
Just check whether you have a space or if you have a space, it will give error. It should submit underscore button.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Then it should not give any error. Can you share your screen?
Yeah. Screen is visible.
Ha.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Submit button space click. Okay. F8.
If I enter the value,
Enter some value. Yes. Click on the expenses amount.
3,000.
Click on submit.
Yeah.
Wait. Sub or function not defined. So you have if account cell combo cell, next account cell. For each account cell selection, just click on OK.
And this is what here I'm getting.
No. Press F8. Okay. It is, you don't have a space between that next and account. Next space account. Now if press F8.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, thanks.
Now we are getting the correct type. Once we get the correct type, we need to determine on which column that value should go. Okay. So I'll remove this message account box. We don't need it now. So once you get the type, I'll say if account type was in quotes CR. Okay. Then
why we removed a message box account?
that is just for checking whether I am getting that correct type or not, whether it is giving me the C of the DRR correctly. So we are already getting it, so there is no need to have that message box. Else what will happen is every time you run the program, that message box will pop up. It is CR, it is DR, like that. We don't need that.
Oh, okay.
So if account type is CR, if it is CR, then where should be the, sorry, it should come in my TV, it should come in E column. So if B column is active cell, E column cell will be what? Active cell offset 0, 3, right? Expenses is 1, this is DR is 2, CR is 3. So here we will write, if account type is CR, then active cell dot offset 0, 3 dot value equals, what is that? Amount is text box 2. Text box 2 dot value. Else, now again we can check for account type equal to DR, then active cell offset 0, 2 dot value equal to text box. Now I'm pretty sure that there is only two account type, CR or DR, right? So if it is not CR, it is definitely going to be a DR. So there is no need to use a if again. I can just copy paste this. And here I will write 2. Now if I run this, it is not going to give an error, but see what happens. Okay, just watch on the screen first. I'll run it by step. F8. Okay, I'll enter, say, commission. Then account head is, I'll take it as expenses. Then amount, say 1,25,000. Okay, now I click on submit. When I click on submit, see what happens. It has printed 1,25,000 in this particular sheet, account heads. But what should happen is, it should come in my TB, because this is a logical error. Okay, because if you look at the code, you will see that we are still in this account head sheet. Okay, so before we print the value in that particular column, we need to go to that sheet first. Okay, so this is a logical error. It won't be captured by your debug. So we need to go to my TB. Then you check if the account is CR and put it in the respective column. I'll save it first. Now I'm going to run it directly, not in a debug mode. Now when I click on submit, it should go to expenses as DR, so that D column, right? So you can see elect bill, expenses, and the debit 50,000, and you can see that balance also automatically comes. Okay. Now the user form is working fine. Now we need to assign it to this particular button. So come back to the menu. How will you assign it? Right click on this button. Assign macro. And okay. Okay, what is going wrong here? We have created the user form fine. Now how will you assign it to the button? Can I directly call the user form? Can't directly call the user form. It has to be called through a subroutine, right?
Yes.
You can also change that the name that you see in the title here. It is showing user form 1. Ensure that I'll change the caption property of the user form. I'll name it as trial balance form. Okay. But when you call it, you need to call it as user form 1. I have given the change the name property of that. I have changed the name property of that. Instead of user form 1, I have written as TB underscore form. Okay. So now when I insert a model, I need to call it as
TB underscore.
perfect. Yeah. Okay. Call. I'll say call TB. And here I will write TB form dot show. Now this call TB form that can be assigned to that particular button. Okay. Go on saving the file every 5-10 minutes. Save. Right click, assign macro, and call TB form. Now when I click on this,
So this TB form also we need to center click on the display and write it, or
which one?
no, right? This TB form, call TB form. So where we need to write same like center
in the
click
module.
of that in the model. Yeah.
In the model. I have inserted a model called as call TB form, and inside that you write TB form dot show.
But
and then
before on the if we insert the model, it automatically it will come sub on the end sub. But now by today by insert.
Even here it is coming. See, let us say I have written sub. Remove this also. See, I am writing sub call TB form. The moment I press enter, we'll see end sub is automatically coming.
Okay, but after we writing sub only it will come, right?
After you write sub and give the name, open and close bracket, then you press enter. Only then end sub will come.
Okay.
Once you call it in a module, you can assign that to the button here. Right click on the button, assign macro, and select that module name. Now, see here, when I click on trial balance, it is displaying me the, sorry. when I click on this trial balance, it is displaying the form, fine, but I can't see that data which has to be entered. Okay, we need to enter the data that is in this particular sheet, data to be entered. So it should be better that this sheet will be displayed when I click on that trial balance. So just add this statement here in that module. Sheets. Data to be entered dot select, so that when that user form is displayed, I can see that sheet also. The data that I want to enter. Okay. Okay. That sheet should be selected. That sheet is getting selected, but you will see that we are selecting this account head sheet again. So that is why it is going to that account heads sheet. So once all the data is entered and you click on the submit button, it should again go to that particular sheet. So what I'll do is, once it has gone to the user form, here I will write this particular statement. Once the combo box is populated, then you select this particular sheet. Okay.
Where you are testing, sir?
Because well, what was happening is it is displaying the user form, but this sheet is getting, this is a sheet that is getting displayed. So I can't see what data has to be entered, right? Okay. I can't see the data. Now this is the data that has to be entered.
Yeah.
So this particular sheet is not getting displayed. So what I did was, once the user form is displayed on the screen, once this is displayed on the screen, I'm telling it to go to this particular sheet, data to be entered, so that beside that user form, I can also see what is to be entered. Okay. In that user form initialize, just add this particular statement. If you have that data on your paper, then this step is not needed, because we have that sheet in this case as a separate sheet. Now we can see what is to be added here. I'll just add 2-3 records. So first is sales, account head will be income, amount is 17,50,000. You can see it has been added in the trial balance. Now what should happen is, when I click on clear, it should clear the previous values and again go back to data to be entered. Okay.
Sir, yeah, here I have a doubt. Sir, you started the program. If you select the trial balance, it is automatically go to that, right?
Right.
for recalling the form. Can you do that process again? Because I didn't get that.
This one.
Yeah. We have given the program here. We have written the statement here, but how it is calling the form?
We have assigned that in this particular button, no? Trial balance. Right click on that, assign macro.
Okay.
And select that particular module called TV form.
Oh, okay.
So if I click on this, you'll get that user form. Now see what happens. I already entered sales. Next is revenues. Then revenues will come under again income. Amount is 2,25,000. When I click on submit, it is getting submitted in this sheet called as my TV. But if I want to enter the next record, next entry, then the previous value should be cleared, and also it should go to this same sheet again, data to be entered, right? How will you clear the previous values? And when should the previous values be cleared? When you click on the clear button. So we have only 3 controls here. We can easily clear it. Text box 1, combo box 1, and text box 2. So here I will write text box 1 dot value equals just 2 times double quotes without any space. That means it will become a blank. Then we need to clear the combo box also. Combo box 1 dot value equals, anyone the amount should be removed. Text box 2 dot value. Once the data is cleared, you should again go back to the sheet called as data to be entered. So we'll copy and paste this. And for exit, it will be just end, END. Now I'll click on trial balance. So we have already entered the first 2 records. Now I need to enter purchases. Purchases will come under expenses. Amount is 3 lakhs. When I click on submit, it goes to the trial balance. When I click on clear, it has cleared the values and again come back to data to be entered. Now the next entry is rent. Rent will be again expenses and 25,000. Submit, clear. Last one is wages. Now this is all entries are done. Now there is no need to click on clear. I can directly click on exit. Okay. So expenses are in D column. And this is in a, okay. Next is when I click on profit and loss account, it should automatically generate a report like this. When I click on P&L account, it should give me a report like this. Okay. This is just a pivot. Okay. We have not written the code for this. This is just a recorded macro and we make the changes, we customize it. So when you have a P&L account, we should have only income and expenses checked. Okay. There is no need to have a current liabilities, assets, fixed assets and liabilities. And if you look at the fields here, what we need is account head, account title, and sum of balance. Okay, that is the three things that we need. And we need to filter it only income and expenses. So what we'll do is we'll just record a macro for this. And for balance sheet, except for income and expenses, all others will be checked. That is the only difference. Okay. Now, since this is a table format, even if you go and add the records or delete the records, it will be automatically picked in the pivot table because it's a table. So automatically the entire range will be selected. So I'll just record a macro. You can also do it along with me. So select that My TB sheet. Click on the macro recording. We'll name it as P&L account. P&L underscore account. I'm not going to give any shortcut key here because we are going to assign this macro to that button, right? So just click on OK. The recording has started. I need to go to Insert, Pivot Table. It has to come in a new sheet. So just click on OK. You see that the entire table has been automatically selected. Okay. So even if tomorrow the range changes, it automatically picks the new data. Now I need to have account head first, then account title, then we need the balance in the values. Now first we'll check only expenses and income. Then we'll display it in a tabular format. So for that you go to Design, Report Layout, Show in tabular form. Okay. We can also display it in a different design if you want. So I'll go to Design.
So first what we are showing, sir, only expenses and income.
Yeah, expenses and income, correct.
No.
Yeah, expenses and income. In P&L account, we want only the expenses and the income. Then you, once this is done, you can stop the recording. Click on stop recording. Just record a macro for generating the pivot table, and in the pivot table you should have only expenses and income. In the account head, you select only income and expenses.
Sir, I have only expenses. I don't have income.
No, that is, did you enter all the records here? We have 2 income records and 4 expenses records. Just check whether this 17,50,000 is coming
The pivot
in
order.
no, in this credit column. 1750 and 2,25,000.
Yeah, it's coming.
It should come in the E column, that is credit column.
Yes.
Okay. And what about the expenses? 3 lakhs, 25,000, 50,000, 35,000. That should come in the debit column.
Yes.
Then when you are doing the pivot, you should add, just check what you are dragged in the pivot. In the pivot, first is account head, then the account title, then the balance. Balance is in the values.
Account head, account title, then balance. Balance in the values.
Balance. Right.
Then debit and credit we don't need to add, right?
No, there is no need.
Even though, yeah, I'm not.
So in the account head, you will get the different heads, right? Income, expenses.
No, sir. That is what in the account head I'm getting only liabilities, assets, expenses, fixed asset, like that only. I'm not getting anywhere income there.
Okay, can you share your screen?
We need to do the pivot. It's not visible now, sir.
1 minute, yeah.
I just stopped the macros recording.
ठीक है, fine. No, just click on that filter. Just go to the, scroll to the top. Click on that filter of account head. Just scroll down. You're not checked that. Okay, you're not getting expenses at all. No, sorry, income at all.
Yeah.
Okay, can you go to that my TV sheet? So I think you selected the wrong account head. You're not getting any income here. And you are only having purchases, rent, vehicle expenses. Go to that data to be entered. You are not entered 2 records. One is sales. The first one, see, sales. That is not there. Revenue, C1, that is not there.
Okay.
You are not entered those records.
Got it.
Okay, you enter it first.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Now, balance sheet is similar to what we have recorded. Only thing is that in a balance sheet, you won't have this income and expenses. Instead of that, you will have current assets, current liabilities, fixed assets, and liabilities. Okay, that is the only difference. I think you can easily do it. Now, when I suppose I assign this macro, this pivot table macro to the button, and if I run it again, it is going to give error, because you know that every time the pivot is generated, it is always generated on a new sheet. So this is going to create a new sheet every time. Sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4, sheet 5, like that. So we don't want that. So what we'll do is we'll make some changes to this pivot. Or first you record it. Money first record it.
Yeah, I'm just doing this.
Huh. What about others? Are they also doing it along with me? Vijay, are you doing it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. On saving the file every 5-10 minutes. So you'll get a statement something like this. That will be similar to something like this. So this is automatically generated when you record that macro for pivot table. Okay.
Sir, you are presenting, sir.
Huh?
We are not getting. You are presenting the screen.
Acha, the screen is okay. Sorry. Yeah, I already shared it. Just check. The screen
Yeah,
is
now
not.
only. Now
Okay.
only now.
Okay, fine. So when you recorded that pivot table, you should get some statements similar to this. My macro name is P&L account. Okay, sub P&L account. And you see that every time the pivot is generated, it is adding new sheet. Right. Now, when we recorded the macro, the sheet has been already added. So we don't need to add the sheets again and again. Okay. So what I'll do is I will remove this. Now this will generate an error, because when you assign this macro to that button and run it, you already have a pivot here. There is already a pivot here, right? So you can't have one more pivot overwriting the last pivot. So we need to clear it first. So what I'll do is I'll first go to that sheet 2. We'll rename that sheet afterwards. So right now it is called as sheet 2. In your case it might be different. So I'll select this particular sheet. Select. Then to remove all the data, I'll just write cells.clear. So this will delete all the data, remove the pivot also. Now the source is in our my TV sheet. So before I generate the pivot, I need to go to that sheet. So sheets Just to make sure that the cell is always inside the pivot, the data, I'll make it A1.select. Okay. So range A1. Some of my keys in my keyboard, they are not getting typed properly. 1 minute. So range A1. Just to make sure that my cell is always inside that table, so that when the pivot is generated, automatically the entire table will be selected. Then we are doing it to generate a pivot. You can see that it is coming as table 2 instead of the hard-coded range. Then at R3 C1, it will generate the pivot. Then it will do all this. Okay. Now I'll just run it step by step, just to make sure that it is running fine. Okay. F8. You can see it has gone to sheet 2. It has cleared the data, but now you will see that the cell location is B12. Then has generated the pivot now. You can see it has put that account heads in the row. Then this is your title. Then you have the balances, and then they just now this should work fine. Only thing is that instead of sheet 2, we'll rename it as P&L account. P-L underscore account. Now we need to change that name in the pivot table also. Okay, it is sheet 2. So just copy and paste this. Go to the code, and wherever you have sheet 2, you replace it with this new sheet name. Send a sheet 2, it will be P&L account. Here also it will be P&L account. Then okay. Now I'll go to menu again. Right click on this P&L account, assign macro. Assign macro will be P&L account. Okay. Now if I click on that, it should automatically generate the P&L account for me. Similarly, you can also do the balance sheet. Only difference will be in a balance sheet, you will have this, except for income and expenses, all others will be checked. That is the only difference. Okay. Now next is mail as PDF. Now on the third day, we already seen how this file as attachment, it can be sent through mail. So I'm not going to repeat that. Only thing is that I will save it as a PDF. Now when this can be recorded, okay, just make sure that you are selecting the location where you want to save it as a PDF. So I want this to be converted into a PDF and we'll save it in a location here. For the time being, I'm going to save it in my folder. So I select it. Before that, you can just check with the print preview whether it is coming in the one sheet. Okay. So this will be a recorded macro again. So I'll go to macro, P&L, PDF. Okay. No shortcut keys. Click on OK. Go to File, Save As. I'm going to save it in my folder. So I'll browse. Save it as a PDF. All this is getting recorded. And here I want only that current sheet. So I'll go to options and active sheet. That is it. Then click on OK. Then save. Then stop the macro. Now if you look at the code here, there is a code for that. Okay, you can automatically see that it is exporting the sheet as in this particular path. Okay, this is the path and this is getting converted. You can see PA account PDF. Now I can assign this to the button here. Now when I click on this, now since it is converting the active sheet to PDF, my active sheet was this. So that has been converted into a PDF. So what we need to do is, before that is converted to PDF, this particular sheet should be selected. Okay, P&L account. I need to go to that particular sheet first. So that is just sheets, the name of the sheet. Now if I click on this, okay. If you want to come back to this menu sheet, you can add that in that code also. So once the PDF has been generated, you can come back to that menu sheet again. Menu.select. And then just to be on the safe side, we can put it on the A1 cell. We can select the A1 cell. You see it has come back to the menu sheet. Now, suppose I close the Excel workbook. Now, when I close the Excel workbook, what will happen is, if I selected, let us say, the data entry sheet, and I open that Excel sheet again, it is going to that data sheet, data to be entered sheet. Now see here, suppose I selected, yeah.
Sir, I have again. I want a recap on before PDF. So after so after changing the sheet name to sheet 3 PNL account, and we changed the macros also. So after that, can you recap that? Because
see, what was happening was, if you look at the code here, it is exporting the active sheet. Can you see active sheet dot export as fixed format, type is Excel type PDF. So active sheet means, if this is my active sheet, and if I run that particular program, this sheet will be converted as a PDF. But the PDF that you want is of the P&L account. So I just added this particular statement. First to go to, when I click on that particular, when I run that particular macro, you go to P&L account, and then you convert that into a PDF. So always this sheet is one which is getting converted to PDF. That is the only. So once it has been converted to PDF, again come to this menu. So I have added this particular statement. Once
so
all
this
this
one also,
PDF
doubt on it. So this one also, you are given record macro and converted into PDF, right?
Correct.
So convert into PDF, the like file, export
you go
PDF.
You go to file, save as. You select the path where you want to save it, and here instead of save as type, you select it as a PDF.
Okay.
So when you save it as a PDF, it will automatically export that.
Okay.
No need to select export from here. Even that can be done, but same thing will work with save as also.
Okay.
So this has been already converted. If you look at my location, there is a location, and you can see that this is a PDF. Okay, this is a PDF file.
Okay.
Now, suppose when I close it, suppose I selected this sheet called as my TV, okay, and I close it. Now when I reopen it again, it will show the same sheet. that is my TB. You can see my TB is getting selected. But what should happen is, no matter what sheet I select, when I reopen it, it should automatically come to this menu sheet. Okay, whenever you open this particular file, always it should display this menu sheet. Okay, so for that, what we can do is, there is a module called as this workbook. Okay, when you go to the Visual Basic Editor, you can see there is something called as this workbook. So what are statements you write in this workbook, that will be automatically triggered when you open the workbook. For example, I go to this workbook and you can see on the top there is a general option. I select workbook and you'll automatically get something like private sub workbook open. Now suppose I write message box welcome. What will happen is, whenever I open this workbook, it will automatically give me that message box. Now when I reopen it, you will see that I'm automatically getting this box called as welcome. Okay, so what are you write in that this workbook, that will be automatically carried out whenever the workbook is open. Now here in this case, I don't want to display welcome. What I want is, I want that menu sheet to be automatically selected. So what I'll write is sheet menu.select. So no matter whatever sheet I select when I close the workbook, but when I reopen it, this will be automatically opened. Okay. Now I'll save it. Now before closing, I'll select this my TB, then close it. Now when I reopen this, it should automatically select that sheet called as menu. So by default, whenever you open, it will always select this particular menu, and then the user can go to trial balance or do any process that he wants. Okay. Now in exit, if I want to exit from the user form, I can write end, END. So that will come out of the user form. But here, when I click on exit, it should come out of the program. Okay. So for that, you just write the command quit. I'll just write that program also. So before you quit the entire application, the workbook should be saved. So I'll insert a new module. Say quit. Take your tab. And here I will write active workbook dot save. That means before you quit, you have to save any changes that you have done to the workbook. And to quit, you write for the entire application dot quit. Okay. This is the only statement that you need to do. And we'll assign this to the exit wala button. Right click, assign macro. Now when I click on this, you see that it has come back. It has come out of the entire Excel application. I'll copy and paste it in the chat. Okay. Is the assignment clear?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Fine. So if you want, I will send this file also. Okay. If you want to, go through the, if you are doing it and need some reference, I'll send this file also if you want.
Yeah, yes, sir. Please.
And I'll do that. And these are the topics that we completed in these 4 days. Along with the file.
We will have a query when we would do it hands-on. Then we coordinate with you.
Yeah. You can always send me a mail with what is the issue that you are facing or any query. You can send me a mail, and within 48 hours, I should be able to answer it, provided I am not in a training. Okay, I'll try to answer it as soon as possible. Okay? That is a commitment from my side. This group that we have, that will be dissolved after some, say, one or 2 weeks. But you can always have my mail, or you can directly send it to Excel4all also. They will be forwarding it to me. Okay. So these are the topics that we completed. Any doubts, any difficulties, any topics that was not clear?
We have this recording available, right?
Yeah.
This
All
will be
the
there.
recording has been given. Except for today's recording, everything has been uploaded in your group. You can access it anytime. That is a lifetime access. Hello?
There for longer time, right?
Pardon?
The recording, whatever you have shared, that would be there for longer time, right?
Yeah. It will be there.
You can have access anytime.
Yeah.
When is your next batch class going to start?
Next batch, you need to check it with Prabhas. April, right? Maybe in the month of May or June. It depends on the batch size. We need at least get 4 or 5 persons. Only then we can at least break even. So if you have any friends or any colleagues who want to attend a similar training, you can just recommend them. And we might have a similar batch in next month also. Okay. So how did you find the training? You found it informative, interesting? Do you think that your tasks can be automated?
Yes.
See, what you need to do is, you can have a complete picture of what you want to automate, but when you start it with a small task. You write the logic for that, write the program for that, debug it, and make sure that the task which you automated runs perfectly. Then you go on adding new features to that. Okay, that way, over a period of time, your very big program will be, your big task will be automated. Start with a small task, then go on adding features to that. That is one thing. The second thing is that if you are going to automate, make sure that you create a copy of your main database, the database on which you are going to automate. Make a copy of that and do your R&D or your hands-on practice on that copy, because any changes done by the macro, it is permanent. You can't undo it. Okay, so you don't want something to run, wrong, the macro to go wrong and mess up your data. So always create a copy. And I'll just show you, we also take consultancy jobs. So I'll just show you one project that we are developing. So what I do is, whenever there is some changes, I just rename that and work on that, so that even if something goes wrong, the original program or it will not be affected. So this is the number of versions. So you can see that. So this is the first version that was created. Then the client says we want some more changes. So again, we rename it. Again, you can see 3rd August, then 10th August, 12th August. Likewise, then we give the final copy. Then likewise, here also you can see many versions. This was started on November, and this is the latest version, that is 5th Feb. Okay, so once you give the final copy, there is no need to retain these versions, but still this is still in the process. We are not given the final copy, so we have this particular version number. So when the final copy is working fine without any errors, then this can be deleted. Okay, so always keep versions like this. So even in future, suppose something goes wrong, you can always fall back on the previous version. Okay. So if there are no queries, no doubts, can we end the session then? I think Mani got disconnected. Yes, hello. Vijay, can we end the session?
Yes, sir.
Okay then. So thank you for taking your time out and attending the session. Yeah. Have a nice day.